This is the most scariest video I will ever make in my YouTube career. This can make or break my reputation in the internet realm.
Sphere. I meant Sphere.
Sonic has some kind of power over the internet as a whole, and while throughout this series, I usually take an objective look at why the game series has failed in my eyes, which hasn't offended anyone yet, my take on Sonic is extremely controversial and should be taken very lightly. Now before I explain why I have these views, let's go back in time to figure out how we even got here in the first place. Sonic started off as an ambitious mascot for the company of Sega, who would try to compete with other gaming mascots to prove the capabilities of Sega consoles, and it turned him into a worldwide sensation filled with all kinds of different medias. The 90s were a great time for Sonic, especially with the healthy competition with other gaming mascots, which would provide people with great games, including the mainline 2D games and the 3D adventure ones, released later when Sega had the capability to do so. Sonic even had a couple of cartoons, with one of them having Steve Urkel voicing Sonic, because why not? Not every game was good, but the consistency of this icon kept them around for such a long time. Now let's go ahead and talk about what makes Sonic revolutionary in the first place. In a world with failed mascot after failed mascot, Sonic was a fresh breath of air design-wise. His character is simple yet effective. His 2D design is easy to comprehend. The 3D design we'll come back to later. The two games were amazing with the intuitive level design, the colorful backgrounds, the fast-paced gameplay that's never too fast, but fast enough, solid platforming, and a soundtrack that'll fill anyone with nostalgia. The spin-offs were hit or miss with a bunch of random puzzle and arcade games. After the 90s, we moved to the 2000s, where we go from 2D to 3D, and the transition is, well, it's definitely not seamless, but the gameplay feels cinematic. Okay, let's be honest here, the 3D games are very hit or miss, but we'll get into that as well. The Sonic was a force to be reckoned with, and I don't know a single person who doesn't at least know about this iconic mascot. The 2D games will always be looked at as timeless classics, but over time, Sonic would have to evolve, especially with 3D games being more in demand. But the evolution, as said before, was Before we even talk about this, let's go ahead and talk about some of this Sonic spin-offs, since I mentioned that they were hit or miss. I guess the misses were pretty egg, huh? They all felt like a bunch of rip-offs, like Sonic Kart with legs, Sonic Parties, Sonic Fighters, and last but not least, the one where Sonic teaches the youth. So that's why we're done. Thanks, Sonic. Okay, now it's time to talk about his 3D games, since I have a lot to talk about. The earliest 3D game, which was Sonic 3D Blast, looked, what? The 3D game started okay, with aging graphics and cameras that make me want to take my head off and reattach it to the Hedgehog himself. The games took a dark turn, literally. I mean, a cartoon character with a gun? Isn't that a little far-fetched? Okay, never mind. Well, ever since the Hedgehog, the games just kept on coming, and oh boy, were they were just bad. It went from Sonic Adventure to this, Sonic Heroes to this. I mean, flop after flop after flop after flop after flop after met games all around after that. There isn't anything to say about these series of games except that the Sonic team had no idea what to do after Sonic Heroes. These games have terrible gameplay, confusing soundtracks, mismatched tones, cringy plot lines, and all-around graphics that aren't as bad as I remembered, but still disastrous enough to the point where they should be ashamed of themselves for not even trying. They are also games that I could play if you really want me to. Sonic's new models after his 2D phase is weird, but I understand that the 2D model looks weird in 3D as well, so they had to evolve his look, especially since he's supposed to be cool as ice. Wait, were these games supposed to be cool?
So, ever since Sonic Adventure, Sonic's friends have always been the main aspect of the story and the gameplay. But recently, due to the poor writing of the series as of late, his friends don't really seem to be the focus anymore. So I'd like to go into a bit of detail on how the characters have changed. So I'd like to bring up one good change to Amy Rose, and how basically her character back then was just, she liked Sonic and that was pretty much all she talked about. But now they made her kind of more independent. She still likes Sonic, but just they toned it down more, and I do appreciate that. But that's pretty much the only good change I could come up with, and it's kind of downhill from here. So the reason why the Sonic characters have kind of suffered recently is because characters with previous development have kind of like regressed lately. And the three big examples of this are Tails, Knuckles, and Shadow. The reason why Tails was a good character back then was because he was the smart person that could fight. So he was similar to Donatello, and how they were smart but they could also stand on their own. But recently he's just now the smart person, and he can't seem to do much by himself without Sonic or anyone else's help. And that's a disgrace to his character. The story with Knuckles was that he lived alone on an island, and he didn't know who to trust, so that made him kind of naive. He wasn't stupid, he was naive, so he believed the wrong people when they told him that someone else was trying to steal a Master Emerald. But nowadays they just made him stupid for no reason. Like, he doesn't think logically anymore. So the thing with Shadow back then was that he was dark and brooding, but he still cared for people, and he still like cared for his friends Rouge and Omega. And he wasn't a complete jerk to everyone, you know? He wasn't really mean, he was just serious about things. But now, in the most recent games, he just seems like a fake ripoff of Vegeta, except even worse, because even Vegeta cares about some people and actually grew. But now Shadow is just like non-caring about anything, and they really messed him up. And in terms of Sonic's other friends like Team Chaotix, Rouge, Blaze, Omega, Silver, they hardly get used anymore. I can't really tell you about their personalities now compared to back then, because they're not in the main games that much anymore. And if they are, then they only have like 2 or 3 lines, and that's it. And Cream is just completely forgotten about too. And then the Babylon Rogues from Sonic Riders are only in the Riders games, and they haven't made those in a long time. And Big the Cat is just there for meme marketing at this point. He always kind of has been, but it's dumb. In all honesty, these characters just seem like parodies of themselves at this point, because it just seems like the way they're written now, it just seems like they're written by people who don't like the series, and they just think like they just played one bad game and they're like, oh, they're probably like that for every game. So they write them in like these stereotypical parodied ways, and it's really not good. The problem of the series isn't the characters themselves, it's just the way they're written. And if the series was written with way more heart and care, then it would be as good as it used to be.
I'll be completely honest in saying I don't understand the hype over this film, but I understand that this is a kid's movie nevertheless and shouldn't be taken too seriously in general. Me and my friends watched the premiere and we discussed our thoughts over this movie, which wasn't positive at all. But I'll show that in a second. I just want to get my thoughts on this movie first before I show that. Sonic's redesign is okay, but when you go to his face, it gets a lot more creepier the longer you look at it. And it's bright, I guess, but I hate everything else about this movie. This movie was a complete mess with everything either being annoying or straight up confusing. There's no logic to anything that happens in the movie, and there is no fanfare whatsoever. I get it, it's a kid's movie, but there isn't any effort put into anything but the animation. since the animation company had to redo everything and got shut down right before Christmas, which is just unfortunate. The animation even kinda sucks when it comes to the fight scenes, and it feels so uninspired. This doesn't feel like a Sonic movie at all. The characters are unfairly portrayed as well. Jim Carrey doesn't even make a good Eggman, with him just being Jim Carrey. Sonic is... ugh. Okay, why does Detective Pikachu and Sonic have to copy the Deadpool formula of character? It's barely doable when he does it. I mean, Sonic is hilarious when he tries to act sad in every other scene. And also the other characters are there, the plot is there, the setting is also there. This is just a very bland movie with so much potential. It's good, it's not as bad as we thought it would have been, but it's still a bad movie in general. You may be asking me, what could they do to make the movie better? Well, there's a ton you can do to fix the issues that this movie has. The setting could be completely different, since the one they are using is completely overdone. I mean, Earth? Come on, we've seen a lot of movies taking place on Earth. The intro scene looks interesting, and if the movie went in that direction, I would have actually enjoyed this movie. There even could have been more set pieces from the actual game, since there are references here and there. The plot could have been about his origins in this area or something, I don't know. It could have been about anything. The original plot is so unoriginal, and the movie itself has tons of conveniences. So many cliches are in this movie that it could be a video on its own, and the product placement is extremely distracting. I have so much more to say about it, but I'd rather just show you what the SBU thinks of it. Now, before I show you the game's opinions, I first need to advise you guys that I had to cut out some of the things you said due to it not being about the movie and it being towards the people who enjoyed it. What am I to say whether you enjoyed something or not? And even when I don't understand why people enjoyed this movie, it's not my right to know. Just know that if I do mention the people that enjoyed this movie, just know that this will represent our values. The meaning of this discussion is about the movie and not the things around this movie. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. The movie was terrible. Okay, don't at me.
Trash.
Seems like the only reason why people like this movie was because Sonic was in it. Everything about that movie was just, not good.
I'm sure that if they didn't redesign him, he would hate this movie.
Yeah, that's the reason why people like this movie, is because the fact that the studios listened to the people and redesigned it. But honestly, I think that people I think the studios did this for a marketing purpose, because I felt like this whole movie was just a whole marketing scheme, right? Because, like, there's so many commercials within the movie. Like, it's funny enough, the thing that they didn't even advertise was Sonic's, which I
like that joke literally writes itself, dude.
Yeah, and yet they talked about Olive Garden at the very end of the movie. Sorry,
So he could have went there and ordered chili dogs and bunny. Easy.
I don't even know where to start, but we should start from the beginning. Okay, now what the hell was that owl?
I think it's funny how
They should explain
this was
that.
a legit real owl and not like an anthropomorphic owl.
Yeah, it's so inconsistent. It's incredibly inconsistent. Why can't Sonic just be in that world so they can explain what the hell that was? Because I don't understand what was happening there. I don't understand the lore at all. They just, oh, here's Sonic. Uh-oh, he's in Earth now. They didn't explain anything that happened before that in the beginning scene.
Now rings are like Doctor Strange.
Yeah, what's up with that? Was that ever a thing?
2D game when you get the little bonus level.
Yeah.
But
That's just a thing.
it was kind of stretched. I mean,
They made a whole plot out of it. Because, you know, he lost his rings. Oh, it's in Brooklyn. I mean, it's in
San
New
Francisco.
York. It's in San Francisco. Whoa, I have to go all the way to...
he's so mad he's not even accurate anymore.
He has to go to Los Angeles to get his rings back.
You say Los Angeles after we talked about San Francisco.
Oh, Los Santos. My bad.
Los Santos.
But yeah, it's so funny because every time a character spoke, except for Jim Carrey, we'll talk about that in a second, but every time a character spoke, I felt more dead inside. Nobody can act in this movie, and I hate Sonic's voice actor so much.
Sonic was annoying.
God.
Like, in the games, he says cheesy stuff, but it's never to where he's annoying.
Okay, this is Sonic movie is trash, bro.
That
Point
is...
of video game is just to make some money, little effort to succeed, and that's about it. That's what they did.
A lot of people think that
Jim Carrey's back is probably hurting carrying the garbage.
And the funniest thing about that is I feel like Jim Carrey didn't even make a good Eggman. He made a good Jim Carrey. Don't get me wrong. He's the only good
Jim
thing.
Carrey is gonna be Jim Carrey.
Yeah, he. That
Eggman
was
in this movie is just Jim Carrey.
exactly. It's another issue. It's like the casting. It's like they only got Jim Carrey so they can make those crappy lines sound good.
The only joke I legit laughed at was the orphan joke.
That was funny though. It was funny.
That was.
like,
I felt like that was improv. That there's no way they wrote that in. There's no way the writers are.
Especially since they wrote in fart jokes.
Oh yeah, there was a fart joke.
And then the joke was Sonic where he's like, oh, you think you're weird? I'm not wearing pants. Like, you never wear anything. You only wear shoes.
All
bro.
those jokes sucked, and it's like,
Are you stupid?
and it's
Who
like,
wrote this?
people might want to give the excuse of, hey, this is a movie for kids, but kids
And?
deserve better. And there's so many good kids movies. I don't want to hear.
Like, and?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to
They
hear.
can't have good writing?
well, that would take too much effort.
This movie has no effort put into it. The CGI action scenes, don't get me wrong, they're actiony, but they're not good looking
Oh.
at all.
You mean what the trailer spoiled?
Oh yeah, literally,
That was in every trailer?
all the trailer spoils all the action scenes. Like that's all the action.
This is why I
scenes
hate
get.
watching trailers nowadays, because they just spoil everything. Like
Yeah,
all the good parts.
They didn't leave anything to the mind or anything. Everything was in that movie trailer.
Me and my family was watching Gemini Man, and they spoiled all the action in the trailers. I didn't see the trailers, my brother did, but
Yeah.
like still.
I was thinking maybe there would be like more action scenes because all the action scenes I saw in the trailer were terrible. But no, 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 no.
Nope.
Oh god, it's like at least make it an entertaining kids movie. That was boring. I mean, it's fast paced, but that's all it was. It was so cliche to the point where it's just not fun to watch.
I think
Yeah,
it's
I
also
think-
stupid how they came up with this rule that, oh, no one can see you, Sonic. But then as soon as he meets up with the police officer, he starts going out in public, and no one seems to care except the government.
Oh yeah, and there's that one scene like it's just everyone's reaction to Sonic is hilarious. You know.
Sonic, you need to check your fur. Like, did we just laugh at the fact that he might have to run his foot right now?
Like, I'm jealous. I wanted to, like, not hate it.
Yeah, it's a shame because like so many people love this movie, but I can't. It's just so bad.
It's
I
the
don't
same-
understand. Did we see the same movie?
I feel the same way about, like, Detective Pikachu. Like, I thought that movie was trash. But yet everyone seemed to like it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
Because it's got a cute character. That's it.
The reactions to Sonic himself were ridiculous. Okay, sure, main characters, you know, the main protagonist, main antagonist, they both screamed at Sonic. So you think every other character would have that same consistent reaction?
All
No,
the other characters are boring, though.
that's true. I remember in the bar scene, the bar fight scene or whatever, before that happens, the waitress comes up and she's like, "Is that your child? He's not supposed to be here." And it's like, "No, it's a 40-something-year-old man with a skin disease." And it's like, what?
And she believed it.
Yeah, yeah. She thought it was a mask.
Scooby Doo when he was on the airplane. Like, okay, how do you? Let's just say, for the sake of argument, let's just say that it was a believable costume. She really thought it was a child. Let's just give her that, right? Okay, so how do you go from believing it is a child, like an 8-year-old, to believing it is a 40-year-old man with a skin disease? Like, there is zero.
Bro, what kind of disease is that?
Maybe because of
Why
the,
is he blue?
Maybe because of the original design made him look way too human. Either way, it's just a dumb excuse. There's too many dumb conveniences where it's like obviously it would go this way, but specific. It's just it's just so disappointing. You know, the plot is so basic, and it's like same thing with the Detective Pikachu movie. It's like they couldn't really choose. They really had to go with the basic plot line. Like, come on, do something different. Just a little. I just want something. I want another road trip movie. We gotta go to point A to point B.
That's all these seem to be, don't they?
Yeah, and I hate the rushed ending. The ending was so rushed. It's like they just.
People saying this movie was emotional. I'm like, wait.
What? When? Who
Like,
said that?
I guess like near the end when he's like about to die or
Okay,
something.
okay, no. Raise your hand if you thought Sonic was gonna die. Now, put your hand down if you're a 6-year-old. But like, no.
No.
Okay, well, I take it back. Someone thought Sonic. I don't know why they thought Sonic was gonna die.
It's probably dumb.
It was so unfair.
I feel like Sonic was written by people who don't like the games, and they played one of the bad ones, and they're like, oh, it's like this in every game? Okay, write them like that then.
It irritates me because like, it's not that they're clever. I mean, they're just call out Sonic for not shutting up the entire time. They're like, oh,
Just because you're self-aware doesn't make you funny.
yeah, it's
Or it doesn't fix it at all. You're still annoying.
Like,
It doesn't matter if
like
you're like,
he's cheesy. He's not irritating. Like they made him seem like he was like a 13-year-old child with too much energy.
it's like they tried to make Sonic Deadpool, but then they didn't realize what made Deadpool funny.
basically. Everything about this movie is just poorly thought out, made. Like, especially the reason why it happened in the first place is ridiculous. Oh, I'm so sad and lonely, so I'm gonna go ahead and run around in circles and like make the power go out.
Why do you do that?
Yeah, exactly. That, and why would that cause the whole government to go like, oh snap, we must go to this specific baseball
Yeah,
field.
how did they know it started from the baseball?
Yeah.
Like they just know that something caused the power to go out, and then they just yada yada throughout the whole location of where it started. They just knew it happened at the baseball field.
Yeah,
Like,
and I like how the fact that the government just basically stopped doing what they were doing and just had the Eggman guy.
they didn't even attempt. They were like, okay, so
Let's
we
just
don't
get-
really know what it is, so let's get Eggman in on this. Like,
And then they just never say anything throughout the movie.
except for when they show up at the end to give him a $50 Olive Garden. Like, again, Sonic, it writes itself. Why Olive Garden? How much did Olive Garden pay y'all?
That was not even subtle. That was not subtle at all. You're selling to me. You could tell. Especially the Zillow. Freaking, oh, I ordered the house on
Oh,
Zillow. I
Zillow.
see what you're trying to do. It's like, I see you.
Oh yeah, I'd
You know?
also like to mention that so throughout this movie you can see that Sonic can apparently slow down time and just speed for everything. But yeah, he couldn't avoid the dart at the beginning.
Okay.
Why?
Well, worse than that, I thought about this yesterday. So, like, again, he can move so fast that he can just walk past missiles and play them as a drum, right? And he got hit by the dart. Man 1 can be hit by the dart. Sorry, it doesn't make any sense. Unless, like, you know, they're just gonna make Sonic fast when it's convenient for them. But what irritates me, right? So how come when he figured out that he could go that fast, and he can control it at any point in time, because he did it throughout the movie, whenever he wanted to. How come he didn't just run that fast so everyone would be moving in slow motion and just use the ring and dip to another planet? No? No? Oh, because the movie would end in 10 minutes. Oh, okay, my bad. You're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like there's no rules in this movie. It's so inconsistent.
Yeah, apparently Sonic can control lightning now.
Dude turned Thors. I was like, okay.
That was ridiculous. Also, the fact that everyone was like, "Yeah, go whatever creature you are. We believe in you." It's like, what? Like the gold
Everyone started supporting him just because he was friends with the cop.
which the cop
Again,
was
it's
a
like no
domestic.
one cares.
But then again, they didn't even know he was friends with the cop. They just saw like that he was defending him in like the last, I don't know, 10 minutes of the movie. They're like, oh, I guess we'll just get behind this weird alien thing.
Yeah, and the fact is that the freaking cop is a domestic terrorist. So why are they defending him in the first place?
Like, he didn't do anything wrong, but to the news,
He's a
that's
domestic
yeah,
terrorist.
so like that's what they're gonna see, especially because he wasn't in town the entire time to defend himself. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't understand.
Oh wait, this guy was one.
Oh yeah, and the fact
So yeah.
And so was Sonic, and no one said it.
And you know the thing is, that would have been more of a valid reason for people wanting to fight him than them just sitting in the bar and then some random dude come up like,
Oh, you look like a hipster to me.
I was like,
that was a dumb joke. It's just like, what?
I didn't get it.
What did that have to do with anything?
They just needed a reason for,
What to happen?
yeah, they needed the movie to escalate and to move on to another point, and they were just too
Lazy to come
lazy to
up
come
with
up with something good. Yeah. That's what happened.
the.
They're like, oh shoot, we gotta get him out of the bar. Fight scene, yeah, because they're in a bar. Cliche, it was trash.
That was such a cliche moment. Also, that moment made no sense because remember, because they were in the car, the dude went to the convenience store, and he looks to the opposite of him. And all of a sudden, there's all these vehicles making these loud ass noises, and it's like,
Yeah,
where
it's
did
like,
these
it was
vehicles
so-
come from?
It was so quiet before.
Like, what?
and then all of a sudden he turns, and then all of a sudden, like, all the cars are making like loud noises and stuff.
That doesn't make any sense, dude. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Oh yeah, y'all want to talk about the after credit scene?
Oh, so after they played the "Speed Me Up," hey, speed me up. Sorry. After they played that song, or actually halfway into that song, they show an after credit scene like it's Marvel. And guess who shows up? That's right, Knuckles. What? I'm kidding. It's Tails. Obviously, why would it be anybody else but Tails?
Anyway.
Yeah. Also, your brother thought it was Knuckles. My brother didn't know it was Tails either. I was like, why would you, what? So yeah, Tails comes out of nowhere and he's like, I'm a nerd and the coordinates say that Sonic is on this planet, even though that would make no sense.
Man
at
had a
all."
scouter. There's no way. How did he know where Sonic was?
But he knows that specific
And
planet.
the problem was, at the beginning of the movie, Sonic's a toddler, and Tails is
Actually, can I stop you right there?
Yeah.
Can we stop this whole like baby trend, please?
the baby peanut.
Can I not see baby nut trending on Twitter, please?
It's too late. Okay, just
So, Sonic is a baby boy. He's like a toddler. And if you know even a little bit about the whole Sonic franchise, you know Tails is younger than Sonic. Sonic is a toddler. Tails is obviously a baby. Not born.
Yeah.
Most likely not born. And Tails is like, oh, according to my calculations, Sonic is on this planet right here. I'm just gonna go and find him. Okay, so listen, if you wanted to do that, have Sonic a little bit older, and have Tails running with him as he's running around doing the loop-de-loops in the beginning of the movie. It doesn't take that much effort to go back and do it again. Like, it would make more sense at the end for Tails to show up. The entire reason that they had Tails pop up at the end is like, oh, they're gonna make a second one!
Oh, I spell sequel B.
Sequel B is almost as bad as the
Haley, do you have anything to add to this? Even though you've never seen the movie.
No. No, actually, everyone go watch it. I mean, like, go get your own opinion on it.
It's already made a lot of
I mean,
money.
yeah, it's already gonna sell. It already.
No, yeah, it's going to get a $60 million
It's already done.
opening weekend.
I mean, it's gonna do better than Cats.
Anything is better than Cats, let's be honest here.
Honestly, we can make a movie right now and probably do better than Cats.
I'm always meant to see that crap.
That's sad,
I don't
actually.
watch anything.
Because if you think about it, like, they didn't even get their own crowd to go watch it. That's pathetic.
Okay, so did we get all of our thoughts out? Did we talk
I
about?
don't want to talk about the same one as I'm gonna start crying.
I think I did.
Huh?
I think I got out of everything. Just why? Why does anyone like it? I don't see it.
Because Sonic is there, and that's it.
That's the only reason why you can like this movie.
I'm just trying to. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention.
The
He,
CGI levels are Woody
He
Woodpecker.
Fortnite dances twice. By
Oh,
the way.
stop! No!
We didn't even bring that
No!
up. The fact that people thought that was okay, or the fact that nobody thought it was, people still thought it was a good movie, even though he did the floss twice. Twice! He did the
Also,
floss
how
twice!
does he know how to floss, but he doesn't know how to phone booth is? Sorry, like, if man can, call out The Rock and Vin Diesel, then he knows what a phone booth is. We can't pick and choose when Sonic wants to be smart and then ignorant. Like, you've been on Earth for how long now?
He's 16.
And he's just sitting there like,
Whoa, you're gonna go into that teleportation device?
Sonic. Stop. No, stop. I'm sorry. You watched this movie that the cop and his wife have been watching. You know the words. You've watched that so many times and you don't know what the phone booth is? I
There
get
were
it.
no phone
I get it.
booths.
It's 2020. I get it. Right? No phone booths, right? Nobody uses that.
Everyone knows what a phone booth
But
is.
come on, man. Like, if he knows who Vin Diesel is, and you make a shout out to The Rock running for president 2020.
Inconsistency.
Just pick one. If you're gonna say that he knows what a phone booth is, like, just don't reach for a bad joke. Because nobody, except for that one dude, the bottom, he probably knows that. You just wanna make sure you got it.
Yeah, there's so much marketing in this movie, it's insane. It's ridiculous. It's like,
There's probably more that we just didn't notice. Once you watch a movie, it's which I'm not.
there's probably a lot more subliminal messages just here and there for like, people just to be like, now I'm in the mood for it.
Also,
Olive Garden.
Also, you know how Sonic got shot with the dart, and then the cop agrees to help him, right? So he's like, okay, can you like carry me because my legs feel like spaghetti? And then 10 seconds later, he's climbing up on a dresser and jumping onto a robot. Like, bro, listen, if you can't walk, like he actually fell over. So if you can't walk, then you can't walk. Don't be climbing up like you're Hercules or something. Like, I'm sorry, bro, pick one.
And then 10 minutes later, he was able to run again.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, see, my legs feel like spaghetti. Again, like I can use this for every single point in the movie. I doesn't know what spaghetti is if he's never had it. Also, if he knows what spaghetti is, but he doesn't know what a phone booth is, like I can just keep saying that throughout every single.
He didn't know it.
Oh yeah, see, he lives in Minnesota or Green Hills. That's such a dumb name. Green Hill would have been better. Whatever. So he goes west, comes back with fish somehow and seaweed. It's like you would be...
Actually, you know what would have made more sense than Green Hills, Montana? Station Square.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been way better.
Like that was obvious, bro. Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my
So he goes from Montana, he runs into the Pacific Ocean, he comes back with a bunch of stuff on him, but
Just
that doesn't
name it a normal place.
that doesn't make any sense.
How
'cause-
did the fish stay on his head?
yeah, there's no way all of that stuff would have stayed on you, and there's no way you would be wet.
He let go of the turtle and ran back for it.
He's not that fast. Like Sonic's fast, but like he was running up a highway, accidentally dropped the turtle, and then had enough time to go, oh man, I dropped him, and then run back and catch him.
Maybe he's
I mean,
really
then
fine,
again,
man.
he played a whole baseball game by himself.
Yeah, how does that work?
Yeah, because he had enough time to throw it, run back, hit it, and then be like the catcher, then run back, lay down, and look at a flower like he wasn't paying attention. Then look up and then see the ball and then run after it. Like
Whenever it's convenient.
he's super fast. But when he's got to get hit by a dart so he can lose his rings to give the entire movie.
That's the only reason this plot exists.
They
Like,
should have done the
maybe
sound
they should have
effect.
had it where he got cornered and then the robots took his rings, like something like that, you know?
Or just
Or he gets hit, and it's like he gets paralyzed because he's distracted. Like a couple robots and Robotnik are in front of him, and then he gets like I don't know, tased or something by like a robot, and then they take his rings. Okay, makes sense. But like, oh yeah, I can play a whole game of baseball by myself. But if I see you with the gun in your hand, and you're still gonna hit me with the dart, like okay. Just make your trash movie. Take your money and leave.
In conclusion, Sonic's reign is far from over, but note that all the series we talked about thus far are far from over as well. Every single series we've talked about are still as popular as they were before. The point of this series is to talk about why these companies have lost their credibility and our respect. Sonic, although will forever still have our respect, but his fall off in the mid-2000s is the most obvious video to make that I would be dumbfounded if I never made a video about it, like, ever. But don't worry though, because in the next episode we will be talking about how a certain series got screwed over and how it ended their reign in innovation in game design. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a toasty one. The first fighting game ever released in 1987 was Street Fighter.
Today we'll be discussing about every single movie that Illumination has
I
ever
mean, the series that set up the fighting
Before we go
genre.
down this list of movies, I should discuss why this episode is special and my history with this awful studio. Now, I've seen the majority of Illumination